Hello and welcome to Totally Rovers, with a couple of Blackburn Rovers fans talk about Rovers. On the pod this week, we got a bit more than what we bargained for and what we're going to talk about this week. We were just going to talk about the Rovers game against Ipswich, but it leading up to a bit more than that. The game ended 1-0. Well, ended 1-0 with the game being abandoned, which of course we're going to talk about first. And the decision is up in the air at the moment with the EFL on what the outcome is going to be for Rovers. Is it going to be a replay? Is the result going to stand? We don't know. And on the pod, of course, there's myself, Luke. We've got Liam. So, how are you doing, Liam?
I'm doing very good, mate. Yeah, not doing so badly. Busy Tuesday as always. Usual scenario: kids, dog, cleaning, prepping for a quiz. It's my usual Tuesday, really. Tuesdays I'm a busy day. I get to relax on a weekend, so well, when I get a day off on a weekend. Anyway, how about you? How's things?
I've been all right. I've been absolutely fine. Not dampened. The spirits aren't dampened with Rovers,
No.
with me, despite Rovers dampening spirits with the weather, of course. But which we'll talk about in a second. But other than that, I'm absolutely fine. I'm just getting on with life as always, plodding along, and I've just done a lot of batch cooking, really, cooking from scratch to help with me going to
Yeah.
gym and working out and stuff like that. But
Well,
anyway,
it's that
enough
time
of
of
that.
year as well, isn't it? So
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, enough
plenty
of
of
that.
soups and casseroles and
Yeah. Anyway, enough of that because we're going to go off on a tangent here. We need to concentrate on Rovers.
this is
So
true.
the game with Rovers was against Ipswich. We were on the back end of a 1-0 win against Watford. And
Indeed.
confidence was quite high, actually, after that hard-fought result we got against Watford. And I was a little bit sceptical, if I don't mind saying, about how Rovers could do against Ipswich now we're at home. Because Ipswich, before they played against us, they were on the back end of a 5-0 win against Sheffield United, which inevitably was Ruben Sellers' last game in charge, wasn't it, for Sheffield United? And
Yeah.
Jaden Phillips got a hat-trick. So they would have been riding high with confidence on the back end of that result. But I was a little bit wary that Ipswich could be finding the form and picking up and gathering momentum going into the game.
Yeah.
And when I saw the lineup as well, Hayden Carter's injured, and then Lewis Miller was placed as centre back, and I was a little bit apprehensive, thinking, "Oh, we haven't got a defender since Dom Hyam's gone." So
No.
I was a little bit apprehensive about that. But, I mean, before the game started, how did you feel about Rovers going into the game against Ipswich?
Well, I went into the game. I was quite optimistic going off the back of the result that I wasn't expecting to get with the 1-0 win last time out. I thought, you know what? And I said this as well on the last pod, but I said I'm quietly confident we can get something against Ipswich. They struggled against Preston, and I just thought, you know what? I fancy us getting something against Ipswich. I think we've got some young, hungry players that look like they started to get the hang of playing together now. I honestly thought we could come out with some sort of result. Now, I'd have been happy taking a draw against Ipswich, but obviously I was wanting the 3 points. So going into the game, I thought, you know what? I'm quietly confident here we can get a good result here. Anyway, so obviously the game happened, and I mean, what was your opinion on how we started? How we started to start with? I mean, it was a bit of an interesting start, a bit of a
The start of the game, though, I thought we did really well actually to contain Ipswich in defence. Lewis Miller as a right-sided centre back really surprised me actually, but with the attributes that he's already got as a tall, physical, no nonsense, rough and ready approach,
yeah,
I thought, yeah, that's a defender we like in Rovers team, and he complements Scott Wharton so well in that centre back. And Scott Wharton, of course, was superb, just as solid as a rock in that centre back. But obviously, the concerns with the defence is having a depth because Hayden Carter's injured. But luckily, Sean McLaughlin come back from suspension, so he was available should we need to rotate and switch around a bit, and with a bit of cover, I suppose. But we were very dogged in defence. We were solid, no nonsense, and Lewis Miller and Scott Wharton just really got on with it in the
Mm.
defence. You know, I mean, they did well to close down Jaden Philogene and George Hurst and Apcon on the counter attack, really. And
Yeah.
Ballas 12th, though, he did some superb saves in goal. I mean, the stop from George Hurst's attempts on goal, which was close range with a close range shot, he just got his body out to stop him from scoring.
Yeah.
And then there was another shot that he saved from Jaden Philogene. I mean, they were largely kept quiet throughout the game, and Ribeiro and Alabiosu helps them two out
So
on the
would you
defensive
say
duties.
Wharton would you say Wharton surprised you with how well he's quickly stepped in, considering we've lost a lot of experience at the back? How well he's stepped up.
Yeah, I am actually, because I was a little bit
Mm.
concerned of how quickly Wharton could settle back in, but he's just got back in straight away, and it's like he's not been out for
Yeah.
all season.
I mean,
I was
I've been
really
quite
pleased
happy
to
with his
see.
performances. So I
Yeah,
mean, I think we've got a good solid defender there, and like you say, with McLaughlin back now, Hayden Carter when he comes back, we've got some depth there with the fact that Miller can play that centre back position as well. So it's not looking all doom and gloom with us letting go of those that were not wanting to renew. So obviously we then have the incident that happened in the game that kind of changed the way the game was flowing. I mean, the red card incident. Do you feel like it was a red card?
yeah, it was definitely a red card. You know, we were pressing on the counter attack. Yuko Hashi 1-on-1. Jacob Greaves couldn't keep up with Ohashi, so he
No.
grabbed him on the shoulder and he was down. And 1-on-1, it was a straight red. It was
Yeah.
pretty much a similar challenge to what Sean McLaughlin did on Josh Sargent,
I was
albeit
gonna say it
further up
reminded me
the
of that.
pitch. It was a bit like that, really, albeit on the pitch. It was a straight red. It was the right decision by the referee to
Yeah.
send Jacob Greaves off. And it wasn't very long into the second half that Jacob Greaves was sent off. I think it must have been about a few minutes into the second half. And then as the game progressed, Rovers grew into the game, got more
Yeah.
comfortable with it, particularly the man down, and taking advantage of that. And Ipswich also made some changes with Apcon, Philogene, and Hurst taken off, and Smodics came on. But speaking of Sammy Smodics, I was really pleased to see the reception he got at Eagle Park from the Rovers fans. He got a very warm reception from the fans, and I mean that was really class from the fans, and applauding Smodics when he came warming up on the touch, at the sideline, and
Yeah.
cheering back to the fans and whatnot. I mean, he single-handedly kept us up that season, didn't he, when he was scoring all the
Oh, yeah, he
goals
did.
for us, and we'll always
And he
be
did.
grateful for what Smodics did for us.
And he did let his feelings be known at the end of the game. How much he appreciated the way the fans um, made him feel welcome, made him feel appreciated for what he had done for others. So he did actually say thank you to the fans, which was really nice to see as well. He appreciated our gesture as well. So, but yeah, no, it was good to see Smodric back on the pitch at Ewood, even if it was against us.
Yeah.
but no, it's good to see Smodric again. So then obviously we get a penalty.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
Campbell steps up and buries it. Do you feel like it was a penalty?
It was, because when we were pressing on the counter-attack, when Darnell Furlong took down Todd Cantwell, it was interfering with play, and the
Mm-hmm.
referee made the right decision. There might be a bit of disputes because of the state of the pitch around that time, getting
Yeah.
worse, but it interfered with play. It was a good penalty. It was definitely a penalty. And Cantwell slot it in, cool as cucumber, and that meant a lot to him as well. I think that would have annoyed the Ipswich fans a bit because he played for Norwich as well. That Todd Cantwell
Yeah,
happened to score and get a penalty against him.
exactly.
But there's another player worthy of mention, actually, was Taylor Garner-Hickman, because he was brought on at the very last minute due to Sidney Tavares taking a knock. He slotted straight in midfield, playing alongside Tronstad, and it works really well, actually, with Tronstad and Taylor Garner-Hickman. Tronstad can just sit back a bit more and
Yeah,
protect the back line more, whereas Taylor Garner-Hickman can be the engine room in that midfield, which works really well. And Taylor Garnetman had that tenacity and that drive in midfield to go forward. I think there was more confidence in him, but then again, he is a championship player, which I think
Yeah,
is really handy to have in that midfield. And I don't mean to disrespect Sidney Tavares by saying that, because he's just come over and, he's adapted to the league and trying to find his feet at the club. But I think Taylor Garner-Hickman should take over that role now, I think, as the midfielder to play up with Tronstad and to pair up with him. I think is a really good option there to have in our midfield. And I can't believe he's still 23. He's quite mature for a midfielder from what I saw Taylor
yeah.
Garner-Hickman in that midfield as well.
Well, there was a lot of fans that were quite sad to see him go when we got him. I mean, from what I was hearing, there was a lot of fans saying that we've managed to get ourselves a decent player there, and he wasn't given enough chance and enough time. Obviously, so it's nice to see that there's fans that are kind of jealous of the fact we managed to get hold of him and bring him into our club, and maybe we can give him that opportunity to progress and get some minutes on the pitch with us.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I remember when we got him in the summer, and I did ask on social media from Birmingham fans on a group, on an EFL group, what do you think of Taylor Garner-Hickman? And said a really good player, hardworking, gives it his all. You'll get a good player in your hands there. And the fact that we got him with a loan as an option to buy,
Yeah,
I think, I think he could. The very possibility that he could be on the books permanently at the end of the season.
yeah.
Because Tronstad's going to be going, isn't he? The end of the season as well, which has been confirmed. So
It's
it
going to be a
could
shame to see him go because I
be.
like Tronstad.
Yeah, well, I love Tronstad. Been an absolute rock for us, hasn't he? And I love his chant as well. I mean, it's one of the best chants I've ever heard
Yeah,
for Rovers for a player for a long time as well. But yeah, I think he could potentially be lined up to be a replacement for Tronstad, I suppose, in that midfield.
it's a good
Or,
shout, to be fair.
or, or even for Travis as well, potentially.
True.
So, yeah, he put in a really good performance. On the attack, though, I thought we all did really well. Hedges were
Yeah,
constantly pressing. And
Hedges
out
has
on
been
the flank.
a revelation this season. Been our best
He's been,
player, in my opinion.
he's been, he's been brilliant. Cantwell did well to dictate play in that midfield with the passes, and Murray and Cantwell, I
Yeah,
think collectively they were the ones that sort of dictated play out in the counter attack. I mean, Murray is like Cantwell in a way from what I saw with his decision making, the positioning, picking out them passes in them tight situations. It was really good to see from Murray as well. And actually didn't really do much, but off the ball, he was a real threat to the Ipswich defence when
yeah.
coming
Just
running at them
a
and
little
getting into
terrier
them
running at them all the
positions.
time.
Yeah, that's it. And that put the frighteners on to Ipswich as well. And even when the changes were made as well in the second
Yeah,
half, when Cogbo was put on with Andrew Johnson, the pace from Cogbo, and even like the physical, the pace and presence. And Good Johnson has that presence in the attacking
yeah.
area as well. Bit like what Gay has, but I think there'll be more to him. That I'm
More to go. I
very.
think there'll be more to him.
I think there'll be more to him with his end product and what he can offer in terms of goals and being a goal threat and a contribution. So,
But
and
yeah,
obviously,
obviously the weather was a factor in the game. I mean, I saw how miserable it was outside all day. It never stopped, and it was relentlessly lashing down. I don't think I've seen rain as heavy as that for the full day like that in a long, long time. And
no,
obviously, because of that, the pitch has got more and more waterlogged. And one of the things I was going to say is Rovers, Ewood, has one of the best drainage systems around, in my opinion. And that's not just me making that is genuinely the case. However, we have a major flaw in our drainage system, and that is the fact it flows into the River Darwen. And when the River Darwen gets above a certain level, it can't drain. And that
yeah,
was the issue on Saturday because the rain was just non-stop relentless. And obviously, because of that, the pitch wasn't able to drain as well as it can do, and therefore the pitch has got waterlogged. And as we know, the game got called off in the 80th minute. Do you
yeah.
feel like it could have continued, or do you feel it was the right call to make?
Well, there's many ways of looking at it, isn't there? I mean, if we're talking about 20, 30 years ago, I think it was still continued with the
Same
state
here.
of the pitch. People talk about, oh, we've had pitches that are a lot muddier and wetter than that, and the game still continued. But people say, oh, we live in a nanny state now. Can't do that because of the safety of the players.
Yeah.
But also looking at the bigger picture, there's also the safety for the spectators who go to the games as well. The home fans, the away fans, and even the managers and the officials. It's a safety thing as well, though. So that I don't know about the drainage system because a lot are saying, "Oh, the club's not investing on the upkeep and maintenance of the ground."
It was something I looked into. We supposedly have one of the best drainage systems, but we've got a major flaw in it in the fact that it drains into the River Darwen, and obviously when that
Yeah,
goes above a certain level, it can't drain in.
no,
So
it's all
therefore,
yeah, and the river overflows, doesn't it? So
yeah,
you can't if the river's overflowing, then we can't drain the ground cannot be
no.
drained.
I was
So
watching a clip online. Now I know it's not quite Rovers related, but there was a clip of extremely heavy rain. I think it was the American football, so it's not the same
mm,
sport. But they're all there with like squeegees, brushing all the water off the pitch down onto the thing where it runs down to the sides. Rather than just like our grounds when we're just digging holes on the pitch. Maybe they could have been trying to push some of the water off the pitch to get a lot of the water off the pitch when they stopped the play for that time. But like I say, it's all hindsight, isn't it? But
yeah,
um,
I, I think lessons can be learned on what can be done to
mm,
prevent this happening again. But it's whether or not the club's owners and the board are going to go right. We need to invest on some improving our drainage,
yeah,
or I don't know whether that side of the river, where the riverside is, and where it goes past the ground, which is between the ground and then
yeah,
the field, which goes up to Highcroft and Longshore.
yeah,
Is that for the council to sort out in terms of in, raising the banks, building a
yeah,
higher wall and a taller barrier
yeah.
and having a new
What and
bridge.
then adding a higher part where the drainage comes out, so then it's not
Yeah,
being blocked from here. Yeah, I get what you're
yeah,
saying.
and maybe having a new bridge where the
Yeah,
fans that walk home going to and from the games from that side of Blackburn, you know, to sort that out. So there's so many ways of looking at this as well. And it's not the club's fault that it's been raining like this as well. You
no,
can't blame a
there's
club for the
I mean,
weather.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like the last 3 days, it's been glorious blue skies, sunshine, no rain to be seen. It was just
Yeah.
a freak non-stop onslaught of rain all day Saturday, and it was
Mm.
it was kind of a tough one to take because it ruined what would have been a really good result for us.
Yeah. It was.
We've now gone to the EFL, as I recall. They're making a decision, and from what I'm hearing, the likeliness is it could end up being where we end up disappointed because we may have to replay the full game. Now, I know we're
Mm.
pushing to try and either get the result given because it was over the 80th minute, and in the rule books, if it's over 75 minutes, they get to have their discretion and decide, and they are allowed to give us the result. However,
Yeah.
Ipswich have pleaded their case. We're pleading our case. We've also pleaded if they are going to make us play it, surely we should just have to play the final 10 minutes plus injury time at 1-0 up with against 10 men. Surely we shouldn't have to play the full game again because that's
No.
basically rewarding them for bad weather.
Yeah. Exactly. What?
After they're the ones who had a man sent off and everything. So
Yeah. But what's also weird is that the way what the EFL stated is that Jacob Greaves' red card still stands. So if Greaves' red card doesn't stand, then why doesn't Todd Campbell's goal stand, and why doesn't the
yeah,
result stand?
this is
That's
true.
an argument for us that the results should stand on our part. Well, if Jacob Greaves' red card is standing,
Yeah,
and
if his
and
card's going to
he's
stand and he's going to be suspended the next game,
yeah,
then
exactly,
surely our
yeah,
our
and
goal should stand.
yeah, and also the other factor is 80 minutes, it stopped completely. Go 1
Yeah,
0 up, quite, Ipswich are down to 10 men. We're on the front foot throughout the second half and throughout most of the game. And I
they
know
do. But
Kieran McKenna did complain to the officials and refs on stopping the game because of the pitch getting waterlogged as well. So I don't know whether that could influence the EFL's decision to
influence their
whether or not,
decision. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But they were getting overrun by us anyway once we were down to 10 men, and I think that was
Yeah,
so. I think that was basically his way of trying to clutch at something to try and get something out of the game, in the hopes it might get replayed.
it's
Personally,
quite
I think it should have been like the last 10 minutes. I mean, what's 10 more minutes in my opinion? In the
yeah,
piddling down rain.
yeah,
I've played in weather like that for many a year on the playing fields where I used to live, and it's all on a hill, so it's like a swamp at times. And I've I've come home caked in mud, and I loved it.
yeah. I mean, the school up the road from Ewood, which is where
Yeah,
Scott and Adam Wharton went to. There's an all weather pitch there. They would
yeah,
have continued playing football in that pissing rain as well. They would
yeah,
have just got on with it. And a few
yeah.
other Rovers Academy players that would have trained there at the time as well, like Buckley, Rankin, Costello, etc., all would have trained there and continued playing in the pissing rain like that as well. And they
It's
wouldn't be
just
phased by it at all.
it's just a shame. It spoiled what could have been a very very good result for us. And now we're left in limbo, still awaiting a decision 3 days later, not knowing what's going to come of this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's embarrassing though, isn't it? I know it's embarrassing our part about the drainage and the pitch getting waterlogged.
But it's
But on
embarrassing
it,
not having anything in place for this. They should have a
yeah,
set rule. If it's abandoned after 75 minutes, if there's one team winning, that's the result. If the teams are drawing, that's the result. If there's a team losing on tough shit, you lose the game.
but we've never been in this situation, have we? Though that's the thing. So
There have been other
it's a
incidents of it.
unique scenario, isn't it? Though, in football. I mean,
There have been other incidents of this, but they've always been decided upon. There's been the odd time it's been replayed, but it was because it was below the. There's been times where it's been after the 75th, 80th minute, and
yeah,
the result's been either given to the team that was winning, or there was
mm,
a case where they were drawing because both teams agreed, well, neither of them were going to get any. They're not going to get relegated or get placed because of it, so therefore they're just happy to take the draw. But because it's so early in the season, so therefore it could affect both teams throughout the season. Both teams are trying to get their what they think is the fair outcome. Personally, I think the fairest outcome was either to if they are going to make us play it again, play the last 10 minutes with them on 10 men and us 1-0 up,
yeah, it should. And I know a lot of
and they
Ipswich
could still
fans,
score a
and
goal.
but
They could still score a goal
yeah,
and equalise.
yeah, exactly. That'll be their argument. But if they were 1-0 up, and they're on the other foot, of course, I don't think Kieran McKenna
Playing at
would.
our ground,
I
they'd be wanting it to finish.
Exactly. I don't think Kieran McKenna would have been going to the officials and going,
No,
"Stop playing and stop playing,"
not
and
at
all that.
all. Not at all.
And I know, like I said before, it was embarrassing our part with the pitch and inevitably getting waterlogged due to the extreme
Yeah.
weather. But like the Ipswich fans, like celebrating the game being abandoned
I know.
as well. And you've also
I'd be
got the fact,
embarrassed as an Ipswich fan for celebrating a game in cold off just so we don't have to. That I mean, at the end of the day, your team got beat. Your team is getting beat. Your team is going to lose, and therefore you're celebrating the fact you've managed to scrape away without actually having the loss given against you, and you might actually get to replay it. I hope if they do replay it, we stop them 3-4-0, just to ram it down the throats. But knowing Rovers and what Rovers are like, we'll end up bloody losing it.
yeah, well, it's up in arms at the moment. And what's also embarrassing as well for Ipswich, besides celebrating a game being abandoned while in a losing position, is like they've got parachute payments, and the amount of
Yeah,
money they spent on their squad compared to how much we've spent,
yeah.
it, that that just makes it even more embarrassing on their part as well. I mean, I understand why they want a replay on that part because the full game hasn't been played, but
I mean,
it's so late.
in,
It's so late into the game though that it's been stopped and then inevitably being abandoned. So obviously, as a Rovers fan, I want the result to stand. I'm not going to
yeah.
lie about that. I'm
In
going to
their
be biased
shoes,
about
if
that.
it was us in their shoes, I would be hoping that it got replayed. Obviously, so I can see both sides of the argument.
Yeah, I can as well, but I know what outcome I want. But it's all up in arms at the moment. I'm not going to think much about it. I'm not going to dwell over it too much because despite the performance, despite that, Rovers have played really well. We can there's a lot of positives to take out of that performance of the game, and then we can obviously take that onto the what potentially could be a very hard fought and well deserved 3 points. There's a bit of
Mm.
momentum results wise, isn't there? Which obviously we can
Yeah,
take down to the Valley, which we played when we played
Exactly.
Charlton at the
2
weekend.
wins in a row. We're going down to the Valley. You're thinking, well, we're in good confidence, we're in good form. Let's go down and try and get another result. Now, because this is up in arms, does that affect the players? I hope it doesn't. I hope they think, well, we were on the verge of a second win. Let's take that momentum and 2 wins down to Charlton. But obviously, the outcome could affect the way the Rovers players feel, I suppose.
I don't think it will, to be honest, because I think they'll take a lot of encouragement from that and from the result performance against Watford, and then from the performance and how things were going in that game. I think they'll take that into the hopefully. I'm quite confident now. I've got a bit more. There's more of a cause from optimism now for Rovers actually since coming back from the international break, and now we can perform onto the next game. But obviously, Charlton are going to be a difficult team to play against, though.
They've started well, haven't they, Charlton, this season?
Yeah, they've had 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 defeats, which is a very good start to the game. They're currently mid-table as well.
For a team that's come up, that's a decent start to the season.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that Charlton would have struggled at the start of the season. When you consider that they got up with Wrexham and Birmingham, and ironically, they're sitting higher up the table than Wrexham at the moment. So, it's a very good start, very promising start. And Nathan Jones is a really good manager as well with what he's done at Charlton.
Absolutely.
And I mean, he's done some good recruitment as well.
It's weird how this league started this season because you've got a team like Charlton doing so well off the. Well, I say doing so well, but doing really well off the bat. I mean, they've won 2, they've drawn 2, lost 2, but they've come up. And then you've got a team like Sheffield United that came down from the Premier League that can't buy a win.
Yeah, well, they're on the second season, aren't they? Parachute payment team and not won a game. And Charlton did get a win away from home at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United, which was Chris Wilder's return and his first game in charge of Sheffield United for the 3rd time, if memory serves me right. So they're going to
bring him back.
They're going to be confident with on the back end of that result. But I don't think Nathan Jones is under any illusion that this is going to be an easy game to play us, even though they're at home as well.
And, I agree.
There's going to be some former Rovers players that'll be playing against us as well, aren't there? Joe Ranky-Costello, who recently gone over there. You got Thomas Kaminski, and you've got Amari Bell. So, but it'll be an ugly game, though. I'd imagine it'll be a very scrappy game. I could see the game going in a similar fashion to how we played against Watford. I think that'd be a game we could potentially approach against Charlton.
Yeah. And if we can come out with the same result we've got, against Watford, I'd be very happy with that outcome. I think that'd be a good result.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. And hopefully we have some clarity over what's happening with this game that's been abandoned.
Well, it's up in arms at the moment as we speak at the time of recording on a Tuesday evening. So that's everything rounded up now, isn't it? We've totally rolled so far with all things for now. So, what are your thoughts on the game being abandoned? What do you reckon the outcome should be for Rovers? Let us know in the comment section. And what did you think of Rovers' performance against Ipswich prior to the game coming to a halt and being abandoned? Let us know in the comment section. And how do you think Rovers could do next week? Well, not next week. This weekend, sorry, against Charlton. Going into this weekend. So let us know once again in the comment section. Liam, it's been a pleasure in the pod with you.
Always a pleasure, pal.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Totally Rovers. See you later, everyone.
See you later, guys.